I love how you handle like breakups and like people walking out of your life. Because I remember when we first started getting close, I was telling you about some guy that was like just a dickhead like a year prior or something. And I remember it was something that actually affected me. And I was like, oh, like it made me so sad. I was like sad about it for a while. And you literally were just like, yeah, if you don't want to be in my life, like don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Yeah.
And I literally was like, I need to start thinking like that more because
Yeah.
I feel like when I do like someone, I just give so much of myself to them and then let it affect me for so long when like the reality is like if you want to walk away, bye.
Yeah, no, but it is hard, especially when there's
Yeah.
like deeper feelings involved.
Yeah, totally.
Definitely.
But even with that one situation, I was like, that wasn't even that deep. Like I was just like giving this guy so much of my thought and
Yeah.
I'm like, ew, wait, no, you suck.
I definitely think you have to like take a step back and be like, okay, how invested am I in this?
Yeah.
Is this the person, like, if I feel like I'm doing all of this and they're not giving it back, is this really something that I should even
Right.
be upset about? You know what I mean? And I think that's where that comes from. But I think I've been on the other side lately where I haven't been able to find. And I mean, I think it's just, you know, life in general. Like, I just haven't been able to find someone that I feel fully, like, invested in. But then I leave. And, like, I feel like I'm lately, and, like, I don't know, I don't want to, like, come off as, like, rude or, like, I don't get dumped. But, like, I feel like I'm the one that's been doing the dumping.
Mm-hmm.
Like, since my last, like, really legitimate relationship, like, years ago.
Yeah.
I'm, like, pretty much always the one that's like, I'm not feeling it anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is that my fault? Like, am I looking for too much?
I don't think
like,
so.
You know what I mean? Like, I
know what you mean.
Yeah, but like at some point there has to be a little bit of like a bargaining thing. Not like a bargaining thing, but like, is there really like a Mr. Perfectly Fine? Like, you know what I mean? Does that truly exist?
Yeah.
And I know relationships are work and everything else, but then I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I think that it's a little bit of both because it's like, are you asking too much? I don't think so. I remember talking to my sister like last summer and I'm like, I just want to find a guy who is really nice, really cool, funny, has a job that they're passionate about, goes snowboarding every weekend, always loves hanging out with their friends, has a great family, like is really healthy, into working out, is a good friend, really cares about me, like open and honest communication. Like I was just like going off. And she's like, come on, don't you think you're asking a bit much? And I was like, that's me. I was like, no, I'm literally describing myself. And a guy is going to meet me and all of those qualities are going to be in me. And like, I know it might sound like, I don't know, like narcissistic or like overconfident to say all that, but I'm like, no, I am a good friend to people and I want someone that matches my personality, especially when it comes to like hobbies. And I want someone that's passionate and healthy and has a great family and amazing friends that welcome me. And I'm like, that is what somebody would get if they dated me.
Right.
So no, I don't think you're asking for too much, but I do think that it takes a long time to find. And I said that to another friend of mine and I was like, so I could also say that about all of my friends. So why is it so hard for me to find someone like this? And my friend was like, probably because there's more good girls than there are guys. And I was like, eek, maybe that's true, especially because if you're searching for people in your own age bracket, some people just take more time to mature. Like most people say that women mature faster than men. So maybe that's why there are more amazing girls at our age than there are guys. And like older guys might be more mature typically. Obviously, it depends on the person, but I don't know. I'm not going to walk around and be like, well, there's more amazing girls than guys. And that's just a fact. But like, I have a lot of amazing girlfriends that are single. And we're all in the same boat of like, why can't I find a guy?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I agree.
What was the other thing you said? Oh, yeah. The thing about perfect person. I think that's true to an extent. I think that obviously there's going to be things in a relationship that you need to negotiate. Like there's definitely going to be some things that you don't agree on. And you're going to be able to be like, okay, well, this person makes it worth it. You know, like I would change my mind on this or I would be open to doing this new thing because this person is worth it.
Right.
But I think that some people have non-negotiables that they're like, it doesn't matter who it is. I want someone that does this thing or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think both are fair. But I think that if you do find like an amazing person and they maybe have like 2 things missing from your perfect person, maybe that's a person that you spend more time on and you're like, okay, like, do I want to reevaluate maybe something that was a non-negotiable in the past for this person that has everything else I want? But you don't have to do that.
Yeah, and I think too it goes along with like core values eventually. Not that this is like diminishing what you want. Yeah. But like if it were like the go snowboarding every weekend and it's like, well, they don't like to go snowboarding, but they like to do this. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, well, okay. And like you also could have your own interests and like that part maybe, but like, I don't know, like the core values, like being motivated and being, you know, like, I don't know, I like a people person. Like I like going out and having fun. Like, you know, someone that I want someone that I could throw into a room with my friends and walk away. And I'm like, I don't have to think about what they're talking about. I don't have to worry about what they say. Yes. I know my friends are going to pick up right where they left off with them. And like, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, I just want it to be easy that way.
Yeah, totally.
And I think I've been struggling with the motivation part of it. Like, I've been like dating guys lately that they're not motivated in their jobs, but then I see it spill over into like their personal life. And like I'm someone that like Sunday mornings, where do I love to go? I go across the bridge to Cherry Hill. I'm at Costco. Like I love doing errands. Like I'm up and about and like I like doing things like that. And like that's where I see it spill over. Where I'm like, that is something that like that's part of my daily routine that like I really enjoy. And like it gives me peace of mind. And like I would like a companion for things like that. Like sounds stupid, like a companion to go to Costco.
No, it doesn't
like it's fine.
Stupid.
But like I just, you know what I mean? Like those are the parts where I'm just like, and then I'm like, all right, well I'm out. But I'm like, is that too quick, you know? So
I don't think, I mean, it's possible that it has been too quick in certain situations, but the word that I was looking for earlier is compromise. Like,
oh yeah.
What are the things that you're willing to compromise on? Because I think that there are, in every relationship, there are things that you're going to have to compromise on, but you're allowed to have non-negotiables that you don't want to compromise on. Maybe instead of, how can I say this and not be confusing? Like, if you do have non-negotiables that maybe at first that person doesn't meet, if everything else about them is great or is like exactly what you want, I think it can be healthy to be open-minded about that other person being open-minded. So like if my non-negotiable, I'll use a simple one, is snowboarding, whatever. At first glance, if someone was like, I really don't want to snowboard, I'd be like, oh, that's annoying because that's all I want to do in the winter. But instead of ruling them out after like 2 months, maybe if they're like my perfect person in every other regard other than this one thing, maybe I can be more open-minded to them becoming open-minded about this thing. So at first, if they were like, I hate winter, I hate the snow, I don't want to do that, maybe I'm like, oh, well, can I share winter with you? Like, can I share a ski trip with you and see if you like it?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think that it's more so like you care about this person, you see that it's like one of their passions, and then it's like, why don't you come along with me? Even if you don't want to snowboard, at least come and sit in the lodge for a little bit. Like, you know me, I love, like, I go to the Montage Mountain in Scranton, and I'm like, shit, I'm in Aspen.
Yes.
And I have a great time. Me and my friend Brianna, we go and have cocktails in the lodge.
I love that.
We don't even get a lift ticket. We don't bring nothing. We dress cute. We are not touching those slopes.
I love that.
But we love to just go and just be there and be in the environment. Like, I think it's fun to just go anyway. So
I think
like
so
that
too.
could be, but I think that could go with anything. You know what I mean? Anything that you're interested in or you may have a passion in. Like, say you're really into like live music, like, but your person that you're into only likes pop, and you're like, I'm going to this great indie concert. I would still think that if I were that other person, I'd be like, oh, I'll go along. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I could see it's not going to be the end of the world. Yeah. You know, like, might as well go and try it out.
Exactly. And also, like, if you are really into indie and all they like is pop and all you've ever heard them talk about is pop, don't in your mind rule out that, oh, they're only into pop, so they wouldn't even want to come with me. Be open-minded to them being open-minded. Like, ask them how they would feel. Would you be open? Can I share indie music with you? Would you ever want to go to concerts with me? Even if they never said that before, even if they never showed interest in it before, people can change their minds and people can be flexible and fluid on certain things for the right person. And who knows, maybe they don't like indie music because they've never had an amazing experience with indie music, but maybe you're going to be the person to give it to them.
Yeah, and you could be like that bridge and like, you know, bring them in and get their toes wet a little bit.
Exactly.
I also think it's like really hot. No man has ever done this. You want to catch me? Get on it. Like, make a playlist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be like, oh, like, I know that you really like Ariana Grande and I've heard you listen to Taylor Swift a little bit. Why don't you try giving like Casey Musgraves a listen?
Yeah.
And like throw a couple Golden Hour songs on or like throw a little Maggie Rogers on. Like, there could be a way to like bridge that in. Yeah. You could do that even with snowboarding. Like, okay, you don't like snowboarding. Like, why don't we go snow tubing? Like, something more like, you know what I mean? Like a soft launch into it.
Yeah. And like, I'm not trying to say change people or like try to change people, but sometimes introducing someone to something new isn't changing them.
No, not at all.
I feel like sometimes in relationships, it's like, this person doesn't match my non-negotiable and I don't want to change them. And it's like, people change all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I would change even if a guy didn't change me. Like, I change, I constantly get better. That's how I try to live my life. So there might be things that I want in a relationship next year that 3 years ago I'd never considered in a relationship. So I feel like it's okay to encourage, or not even encourage, but just ask the person you're seeing if they would be open-minded to this new thing that they've never experienced. Like, I don't think that's a bad thing. I actually think it's a great thing, but I also don't think it's a bad thing to not want to do that. Like, I feel like if you, I feel like it could be, I don't know. I was going to say, like, if you have a non-negotiable and someone doesn't meet it, you don't have to go out of your way to be like, well, please do this. Like, if I met someone and they didn't snowboard and they didn't want to go to the mountain and I was like, I don't want to have to beg them to come with me, like, that's fine too. But I feel like if you meet someone that's so amazing, like, no one is going to be 100% every single thing you've ever wanted, and you never fight and you never compromise and every single thing aligns forever. Like, that's just not how life works.
No, yeah. And I think too, again, it's like in the context of what it is. Like, if I met someone and obviously, hopefully I want to put, there are a lot of homophobes in the gay community and like themselves. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, that's horrible.
Or like people that'll completely vote against their rights. Yeah. So like that to me, again, like that's a non-negotiable, that it's like, or abortion rights for me. Like that, this line will never be, I'm not moving on this. Like, you're not going to change my mind if that's your view. That's great. I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like that is something, but again, that's deeper of an issue than like snowboarding or something like that.
Yeah.
I also think that you could reframe your mind on certain things like that, where it's like, I'm not changing myself. Maybe I'm discovering something new about myself.
That is a great
And you're
way
learning
to put
and growing in a relationship, right?
Yes.
Like, you want to grow as a person with someone else, I'm sure.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that you're changing yourself. Maybe you're discovering another part of you that you haven't had before, you know?
That is such a good way to put it, because I was actually thinking about that with politics and religion recently, because I was watching a video about just being compatible with people and like certain things that make you uncompatible and like whatever. And the person was saying like there are certain things that you just simply will never be compatible with certain people on. And one of them that they were saying was politics. But part of me is also like, there's so much that I don't know about politics, and especially during the pandemic, I was just so into like the liberal side of things that if anyone told me that they were not on that side, in my mind, I'd be like, bad person, like, ew, like, you're wrong, you're bad, you don't know what you're talking about, like, you hate people. But one of my best friends works in politics, and this person was telling me, I'm in this party, and every single day I go to work, and I work with people in every party. They are all good people, and they all have the same goal. Everyone's goal is to make the United States a better place for most people to live. So whether or not they have the same way of achieving that goal, I think it helps to look at people and be like, we do have the same goal for the most part. Obviously, there's people who just hate other people and they want to take rights away for the sake of taking rights away. Those aren't the people that I mean. But I used to just be like, oh, if you don't have the same ideals as me, you're a bad person.
Right.
That's not necessarily true. And people aren't necessarily voting a certain way just because of that one reason. Like, there's a million reasons why people vote the way they do. And anyway, just that idea, I really tried to open my mind. Like, like you said, there are some things I will never move on. Equality of rights. Like,
Right.
I will never budge. Everyone is equal. Like, healthcare, women's healthcare, abortion. Like, there are certain things I will never change my mind on.
Right.
They're just like human rights. But I do think it's important to talk to people that don't have the same belief as you. Because how are you ever going to better yourself if you're only surrounded by people that believe the exact same things you believe?
Agree, 100%.
And that do the exact same things you do. Like, if I met someone that never did or believed anything other than what I believe, how am I going to grow as a person?
No,
how am I going to discover, exactly like you said, discover new things about myself that I didn't even know were a part of me? So, wow, that's such an interesting line.
Yeah. What? Like,
just like the idea of like, oh, I'm not changing myself. I'm just discovering more about myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's another reason why I'm like, it's cool that I am still not married and I'm 26. Like, some people get married so young. And like, I think about if I were to get married when I was 22, like whoever I liked when I was 22 or 23, like if I married that person, I'm sure I would be miserable right now because I have evolved and changed so much. And I think I'm a better person for it.
Yeah,
and, you know, maybe those people that I liked back in the day, like maybe they also changed. Who knows? But I just think it's okay to broaden your horizons and like open your views more and spend time with people that don't believe exactly what you believe, whether it's like, I don't know, on any front, because I just think that's the only way that you're going to grow.
No, I agree. And I think, again, a lot of people are like very quick to be like,
yeah.
But I mean, I grew up in like a political family. My dad was mayor. My grandpa was mayor.
Oh, wow.
Like,
that's cool.
I have like, you know what I mean? So like growing up, like the phone would ring and it doesn't matter if it's a Democrat, Republican, Independent at the end of the day. My dad was elected to serve everyone. You know what I mean? Like he was the Republicans mayor, the Democrats mayor, the Independents mayor, the Libertarians mayor. Like, and at the end of the day, he wanted to make our town a better place, right? So like you have to hear what other people are going through. And again, a lot of times like people start pointing fingers at one another and it's like, guys, like we're all on the same page. Like we want the best for our family, right? Like maybe we should look at like other people. Like maybe we should look at people in power that are, you know, voting against all of us together. Like we have a lot more in common than we probably have like differences. Yeah.
I think that's also important too, because like I specifically about the politics thing, like I used to think if you were voting like for any candidate that wasn't Democrat, I'm like, you're voting against gay rights, like you're voting against women's health care. And it's like, I'm not saying this is a good thing, but I think it's important to realize this. Just because somebody doesn't vote for a candidate in that party doesn't mean that's the reason that they're voting for the other person. People vote on economics. People vote on foreign policy. These are things that maybe weren't as important to me because I'm a woman. I have gay friends. Like I have female friends that needed an abortion or need to access healthcare at some point in their life. So that's what comes to my mind first. But just because someone else has a different reason come to their mind first doesn't mean they're a bad person. Maybe they just need to have a conversation to like broaden their horizons, and maybe I do too.
I know it's hard too because there are a lot of people that are like single issue voters, like people that are like devout Catholics, and it's like abortion is it. Like I will never, like they will not change that. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, at the end of the day, like you're not going to change their mind. It's not worth the bickering. It's like they could vote for who they want to vote for. At the end of the day, I could vote for who I want to vote for. We live in a democracy for a reason, and that's kind of where you have to leave it. And like certain topics just can't be touched with people like that because they're not going to be swayed either way. You know what I mean? Conversations are important to be had, but at the end of the day, people are entitled to feel the way that they want to feel. Yeah. Which is tough. Good point. They don't have to feel the way that you do, but I don't know. Am I the asshole?
Hell no.
We like totally changed our topic here.
Yeah. Wow. That's okay though. I feel like we never talk about
that
stuff
was
like
pretty
this.
deep.
Yeah, I know. I liked it though. That was a real like deep look into us. I love that line that you said about not changing yourself but discovering new parts of yourself. Yeah. I think that's such a good way to describe.
Put it on a canvas.
Yes. I just like put it in neon lights above.
Yeah, right.
Discover yourself. Ding. I love it.
Always learning and growing.
I know.